शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष मां 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 शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष माम्
श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। शारदा शारदाम्बोजवदनां वदनाम्बुजे सर्वदा सर्वदास्माकं सन्निधिः सन्निधिं क्रियात्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। अज्ञानां जाह्नवीतीर्थं विद्यातीर्थं विवेकिनां सर्वेषां सुखदं तीर्थं भारतीतीर्थमाश्रये। विद्याविनयसम्पन्नं वीतरागं विवेकिनं वन्दे वेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञं विदुशेखरभारतीं सद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। Hari Om. Namaste everyone. We are continuing with our sessions on Dharma Shastra and the Nyaya Shastra lectures. I invite Dr. Jambunathan to start on the Dharma Shastra section right now.
No, I don't. Padmanabhanji, for some reason, Namaskaram. My video suddenly got cut off. That's why. Okay. Om Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Shuklam Baradaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Sadarbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayetra Vignopashantehe Yashvadrida Vagdradya Parishadya Parasadam Vignam Nignanti Satatam Vishwakshenam Tamashraye Jnananandamayam Dev Nirmala Spatikakritim Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Hayagrimupasmahem Sadashiva Shamarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Gurum Paramparam Shruti Smrti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaskaram to everybody. Thank you for joining on this auspicious occasion of when Lord Rama is being installed in his birthplace of Ayodhya after a long struggle, and it's victory for Dharma, and after all these struggles which a lot of people have gone through years. And it's very auspiciously coincidental that we are also having our monthly Dharma Shastra lecture on this day. There is a very famous statement in the Vedas, Go Brahmanebhyo Subhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Shukhino Bhavantu, which means Go means the cows, and Brahmanas means the Brahmanas who are following all the Vedic rituals. If they are happy, Go Brahmanebhyo Subhamastu Nityam, when they are contented and happy, Loka Samasto Shukhino Bhavantu, the entire world is contented and happy. So, it looks like very narrow-mindedness. Well, if cows alone are good and Brahmanas alone are good, the entire universe is prosperous. So the whole idea is people can recollect the third chapter in Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna says the entire universe is created based upon yajna. That's a very famous sloka. I'm not going to go into the details of the sloka, but Krishna very clearly says that the entire universe is established in yajna, and by mutually satisfying each other, the devas and the manushyas, they become prosperous. So to perform the yajnas, you need the ghee from the cows. We call nei, ajyam, or we need that. And then we need the brahmanas to utter the mantras. And if you remember, there is a very interesting chapter, the 6th chapter of the Prashnopanishad. Prashnopanishad comes in the Atharva Veda. And when Papalada Maharishi is explaining the Shodashakala Purusha means the Purusha with 16 branches or 16 subparts. And when he enumerates some parts, one is Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jala, Prithvi, Annam, Viryam, Mano, Buddhi, Indriyam, Shraddha, Mantra, Tapa, Karma, Nama, Loka. So these are 16. And this is a very, very detailed explanation Adi Shankara gives. If you read that, it's a very fascinating explanation how the entire universe can come within these 16 subparts. And if you remember, the 4 subparts include Shraddha, Mantra, Tapa, and Karma, which means faith. Mantras, which is the mantras which we chant, the Vedic mantras or the Puranic mantras or the Agamic mantras, whatever comes there. Tapa is the penance and karma is the activity. So using faith and using the mantras, man has to perform activities and also later has to perform tapas, and by that only he attains the final liberation. It's a very fascinating chapter, the 6th chapter of the Prashnopanishad. And you can see 4 of them are related to Vedas. Shraddha, Mantra, Tapa, Karma, all related to the Vedas. So for chanting the mantras, that's where I'm coming from, you need Brahmanas. Brahmanas are the ones who are trained to chant mantras. So that's why you need the cows to provide the ghee and the milk for the Agnihotra and all the yajnas, and you need the Brahmanas to chant the mantras. So when the Brahmanas chant the mantras and the cow provides the ghee, the sacrifice is completed, the universe is satisfied. So that's what I'm trying to summarize here. How does it link to Rama and Krishna? Krishna is called Gopala, Govinda. We know that he is the protector of the cows. Rama is actually a protector of the Brahmanas. So in Rama Avatara, he established how he protects the Brahmanas, and Krishna Avatara, he established how he protected the cows. So by protecting the Brahmanas and the cows, he protects the yajna and maintains prosperity in the universe. Brahmanebhyo Mahayashaha. That's what Valmiki Maharishi states in Valmiki Ramayanam. Brahmanebhyo Mahayashaha, one who was very famous among the Brahmanas. So Rama became very famous among the Brahmanas because he was constantly protecting and supporting the Brahmanas. He became very famous among the Brahmanas. Rajavamsham Shatagunan Stapayishyati Raghavaha. He established hundreds of good qualities being a king, and one of the main things he did was protecting the dharmas, the yajnas, and the shastras. And there are numerous anecdotes we can give in Rama's life of how he played a role in protecting dharmas and shastras. So with that, I want to come to our chapter of Manusmriti. So just want to link Rama, Krishna to dharmas and our shastras. And I want to continue on a Manusmriti, which we start up to the 50th sloka, the 2nd chapter, in which Swayambhuva Manu is actually given the instructions to Bhrigu Maharishi, and Bhrigu Maharishi is actually narrating verbatim whatever Manu has given to him. And so because most of them is Manu Abravit, it is as Manu said, I'm saying it. That's how Bhrigu Maharishi says. So we have covered up to the 50th sloka in the 2nd chapter, where Manu is actually starting to give the Varnashrama dharmas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras, and he's trying to establish what is the role and the protocols to be followed by each of these Varnas. And he started with the Brahmanas first, and about the Upanayanas, how at what age the kid should be named, how even the name should be given, the Sharmas, the Varmas, the Guptas, and the Dasas. We talked about last time how to name each Varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras, and how even the thread ceremony, we discussed about hemp, flax, and wool, the different types of materials which are used even to create the sacred thread, the Upanayana thread. and all that. We talked about it. So in the continuation of the same, we'll be continuing. The last sloka which we talked about was Bhikshan Dehi. Bhavati Bhikshan Dehi is how the brahmacharya should go and ask for food in the community from the the ladies in the communities to get this food. And even Bhavati Bhikshan Dehi, if Bhavati is chanted in the front, it means it's Brahmana. If Bhavati comes in the middle, it is Kshatriya. If Bhavati comes in the end, it's Vaishya. We talked about how even getting the Bhiksha, how Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya should use the Bhikshas. And the last sloka we talked about was Mataram va Swasaram va Maturva Bhaginim Nijam Bhikshet Bhiksham Pradamamya Chainam Nam Avamanayet. That is, the brahmachari should get bhiksha from either his mother or his sister or mother's sister. They are the three top choices, but he can get from anybody who is not insulting him. That's the main criteria. Na avamanayet. So don't get food from somebody who is insulting to you. So that is basically where we stop the 50th sloka of the Manusmriti. So this session will talk about a few slokas beginning from sloka number 51. So sloka number 51. Samahritya tu tad bhaikshyam yavad annam amayaya Nivedya Gurovo Ashniyat Achamya Prang Mukashuchihi. Samahritya tu tad bhaikshyam Yavad Annam Amayaya Nivedya Gurovo Ashniyat Achamya Prang Mukashuchihi. So now, having collected the bhiksha food from the community of ladies, he comes back to the Guru's house and he has to first offer this food collected to his Guru. So even the food, he's collected the food from few houses and he brings to the Guru's house and he gives it to the Guru. Nivedya Guru, he actually offers it, the Nivedyam, to Guru. And after getting from Guru's, the Guru will tell what share he can take. And after getting the Guru's blessing, he starts eating. And he should do Achamanam, which is Prang Mukha Sushihi. By facing the north or the east, he should do Achamanam, like sip water, purify himself, and then start eating. So collect the food, offer it to the good with the Guru's blessing, start eating the food. But before eating, do an achamanya. So, and that's what is even recommended even for daily food eating. You have to do achama before eating, and also after eating, you are supposed to do it. It will come there. So that's what is the first sloka. Ayushyam prangmugo bhunkte yashashyam dakshina mukaham Shriyam pratyang muko bhunkte rutham bhunkte hutam mukah. So that is the 52nd sloka, Manusmriti. Ayushyam prang mugo bhunkte yashashyam dakshina mukah Shriyam pratyang mugo bhunkte rutham bhunkte hutan mukah. It says, even Manu specifies what direction you should face when you eat. So if the brahmachari wants ayus, which is long life, he should face east and start eating. So when you want long life, face east and start eating. One who wants fame, yashashyam means fame. Dakshina mukaha, you should face south and eat. Shriyam pratyang muko, which means when you want wealth, you face west and eat. And rutham bhunkte, rutham means the truth, which means knowing the Brahman is the ultimate truth. One who wants to know the ultimate truth and thereby attain moksha, he should face eating north. So even Manu is spelling out, depending upon what benefit you seek in life, the direction you face it. And this is very common. My grandfather used to always tell, my grandfather and all very strictly followed all these rules. He will tell when in the middle age, he said always face easting west, because then only you will get wealth. So he says for a varnashrama dharma, for a grahastha to make more wealth, he will tell, whenever you wash legs, face west and wash legs. When you want to eat, face west and eat. So because that's what he is telling. When you want wealth, Shriyam pratyang muko bhunkte. And that's again is, so again, this is the sloka where it specifies the direction of eating depending upon what benefit you seek. Then sloka number 53. Upasprushya dijo nityam annamadhya samahitah bhuktva cha upasprushет samyak gadbihi kani cha samsprushет. Upasprushya dijo nityam annamadhya samahitah bhuktva cha upasprushет samyak gadbihi kani cha samsprushет. So he tells how to eat. First he told collecting the food, giving to the guru, what direction to eat. Now he's telling even what you do while eating. He says again, he emphasizes you have to do the upasprushya. It means we say upasprushya, which means you should clean yourself. So basically, the basic rule nowadays, we go to fast food, we start eating whatever we like. It clearly says upasprushya. Even when you do pujas, you have to do always wash your hands, clean yourself. So upasprushya means clean yourself, do achamanam, and then start eating. And while eating, don't think about anything else, because eating itself is like a yajna. When you are doing a homa or sacrifice, you are not going to be distracted. You're going to focus, do the homa with full concentration. So same thing while you're eating too, be focused, don't think about anything, don't talk about anything. And after you eat, bhuktva cha upasprushit, again you have to wash your hands. And Karni Samsprishet means all the Indriyas, which is again, which means when you do Achamana, you do Keshavanarana, you touch your eyes, you touch your nose, you touch your ears. So all the Indriyas should be cleaned after eating. That's what it says. So clean yourself, eat without thinking or talking too much. And after you eat, do another Achamana and then touch all the Indriyas with water. So this is very important. This is basic cleanliness is now gone. We used to say a very simple thing in our Hindu religion: before and after you eat, wash your hands, and after you use the restroom, wash your legs. Very simple rule, but this is not followed. It is and it is there are effects which people don't understand. The navagrahas, we talk about all the navagrahas, they are watching all these things, and they used to say even when Saturn, when he wants to catch people, he catches them through the leg. When the people are not washing their legs frequently, Saturn likes dirty places. So when the leg is dirty, the Saturn will easily catch you through the leg, it seems. So they always say these are all simple rules: washing and cleaning before eating, after eating, washing your legs. So those are again emphasized here. So before and after eating, what you should be doing. Next sloka 54. Pujayet ashanam nityam madhya पूजयेत् अशनं नित्य मद्याश्चैतद् अकुत्सयन् दृष्ट्वा हृष्येत् प्रसीदेश्च प्रतिनन्देन च सर्वशः. पूजयेत् अशनं नित्य मद्याश्चैतद् अकुत्सयन् दृष्ट्वा हृष्येत् प्रसीदेश्च प्रतिनन्देन च सर्वशः. It tells how do you have to treat food. People talk food, they throw out food. It very clearly says, Pujayet Ashanam. You should actually do puja to the food, it seems. It says, the food is considered as a form of God itself. Annamna Nindyat. The Bhrigu says that. Don't, and Akutsayan means don't be disgusted with the food. Don't get angry with the food. Always worship the food. Prati Nandane, which you should even be happy on seeing food, it seems. We will realize it when you are not having food sometimes for 124 hours. When you can't get any food, you will know how problem is. So that is why be happy whenever you see food. Don't be disgusted with food. Always worship the food. Pujayet Ashanam Nitya Maddai. And this is all mentioned in the Vedas itself. In the Bhruguvali, there is all these annam is this ahamannam also comes, which has a different meaning too in the the part of the Bhruguvali. But basically, Manu is telling, worship the food, don't be disgusted with the food, be happy when you see food. Drishtva krushyet prasidescha pratinandane cha sarvashaham. Always be happy when you see food. So these are all the thoughts which you have to have when you see food. That's what he is telling. But that means be happy with food. But Manu is going to tell, don't overeat food also. Be happy when you see food. That doesn't mean you should be always eating food also. That will come in the next few slokas. Next sloka is Pujitam Heshanam Nityam Balam Murjam Chayachati Apujitam to Tad Bhuktam Ubayam Nashayetidam. Pujitam Heshanam Nityam Bala Murjam Chayachati Apujitam to Tad Bhuktam Ubayam Nashayetidam. So it says, when the food is worshipped, Pujitam Heshanam means when the food is worshipped daily, Bala Murjam, it gives you strength and vigor. That is the the closest English translation you can get. Balam Murja means the food gives you strength and vitality, or strength and vigor. Those are the two terms when you do it. But if you don't worship your food, apujitam to, if you don't worship food and keep eating it, ubayam nashayet, which means strength and vitality will be destroyed. So when you worship food, it gives you strength and vitality or vigor. If you don't worship food, it destroys your strength and vitality. That is what is meant here. Just 1 second. Next sloka. Na uchishtam kasyachit, na uchishtam kasyachit dadyan, na adyaschaiva tatantara, na chaivat yashanam kuryan, na uchishta kvachit vrajet. Na uchishtam kasyachit dadyan, na adyaschaiva tatantara, na chaivat yashanam kuryan, na cha uchishta kvachit vrajet. Uchishtam, the term uchishtam means, in Tamil we call echal, which means after somebody eats, you eat the same food. That is what we call uchishtam. So he's telling about that. Na uchishtam kasyachidyat. Don't, after you eat something, don't give the same food to somebody. This is very common these days. They share from the same plate, they eat from the same plate, everything. He clearly says, whatever you do, echal, you cannot take it. There is only one exception, which Krishna himself says. Shuttam Bhagavadasya Annam, Shuttam Bhagiridi Jalam, Shuttam Ekadashi Vridam, Shuttam Vishnupada Dhyanam. When Duryodhana is complaining to Krishna, why Krishna is not, Krishna, why don't you come to my house? Why are you going to Vidura's house? When Krishna is coming to do the, trying to mediate for the avoiding the war, when he's coming to Hastinapura, Duryodhana wants Krishna to stay with him so he can corrupt Krishna. But Krishna says, I'm going to stay only with Vidura. I don't want to stay in your house. I will come to your house for negotiation, but I'm going to stay only in Vidura's house. And Duryodhana is telling to Krishna, what do you know about Vidura? Vidura has got a very poor house. His house is all, have you ever even looked at your house, Krishna? It's always dirty house. Vidura's house is always dirty. He's very poor parent. My house is so clean, so aristocratic. Why the hell you can't come and stay here? He tells to Krishna. Krishna then says the four famous lines. Shuttam Bhagavadasya Annam, Shuttam Bhagiradi Jalam, Shuttam Vishnupada Dhyanam, Shuttam Ekadashi Vratam. Eating the food from a Bhagavada is pure, not the purity of the house. Purity depends upon the how Bhagavada he is. And then pure Suttam Bhagirdi Jalam, Ganga Jalam is pure. Vishnupada Dhyana, meditating on the feet of Vishnu is pure. Shuttam Ekadashi Vratam, one who observes Ekadashi also becomes pure. So the first statement is Suttam Bhagavada, that is the only time Uchishtam is allowed. When a very senior Bhagavada eats, you can eat his echal. In fact, Narada became a Bhagavada by eating echal of other Bhagavadas, that will come in Narada Puranam. But basically, that is the only, but na Uchishtam. Basically, Manu says, don't give echal to other people. Bottom line. And then, na madhyash chaiva tatantara means don't keep on eating in between. And the rule is, you are supposed to eat a lunch and then a dinner. That's what the rules are. So you eat a late lunch because you wake up, you do all the Sandhya Vandanam, Agnihotram, there's all of things. By the time you finish everything, it will be like Madhyaniya Kalam, you eat lunch. And then in the night, you eat like early dinner, like 7, 8 o'clock after the Sayam Upasana. And that is how the eating is. So Manu is telling, don't eat in between. Nachaivad Ashanam Kuryan. And then don't keep, other thing is, don't walk with echal hands. He says, now uchishta kochit varjet, without washing. So after eat, go and wash your hands. With echal kai, don't keep on walking throughout the house. We go to mall, we eat something, then walk the rest of the 2 hours. Try to go to the bathroom, wash your hands, and then walk the mall. That's what he's telling basically. So don't give your food to other people. What you have ate, don't keep on eating in too much. Don't eat in between, and also don't eat too much, and don't walk with the uchishtam hands. Those are the instructions he gives. Next sloka 57. Anarogyam, anayushyam, aswargyam cha atibhojanam, apunyam, lokavid vishtam, tasmatat parivarjayet. Anarogyam, anayushyam, aswargyam cha atibhojanam, Apunyam lokavid vishtam tasmatat parivarjayet. Don't overeat. Ati bhojana means overeating. Don't overeat, because if you overeat, anarogyam, it is not good for health. Anayushyam, it shortens your life. Aswargyam, it also prevents you from going to Swarga. Apunyam, it is sinful, because you are taking other people's food. You are eating too much, means somebody is getting deprived. And even the people will start, loka with vishta means people will start laughing on somebody who is overeating too much, So that is, people usually feel only pity for people who are not eating, but somebody is overeating, they will make some comment or the other sometimes. So he says all this. So there's a practical comment you're going to get, but on top of it, according to Shastras, you will lose health, lifespan, swarga, and also the punyas will be lost. So basically, he's meaning don't overeat. Then sloka number 58. Brahmena viprastirtena nitya kalam upaspurushet kaya traidashikabhyam va na pitriyena kadachana. Brahmena viprastirtena nitya kalam upaspurushet kaya traidashikabhyam va na pitriyena kadachana. Actually, the explanation is going to come in the next few slokas. What he is telling is how to take tirtham. First he said about food. Now he is telling how to take the tirtham. Brahmena viprastirthena. There is a Brahma tirtham. That is what you are supposed to do. Nitya kalam upasprishet. Only with Brahma tirtham you are supposed to take water and also clean yourself. Brahma upasprishet. Kaya. Kaya here means, kaya means, kayena vacha also means, kaya also means body. But ka here stands for, kaya stands for, ka is Brahma, not Brahman. Brahma, the Chaturmukha Brahma. So he is the Prajapati. Kaya, there is a Brahma Tirtham. So there is the Prajapati, we call Prajapati Tirtham, Kaya Trai. But Kaya actually, Brahman means Supreme Brahman. Kaya means Prajapati, refers to the Chaturmukha Brahma. And then Trai Dashikabhyam. Trai Dashikabhyam means the 33, which is the Devas. So there is a Brahma Tirtham, there is a Prajapati Tirtham, there is a Deva Tirtham. Trai Dashikabhyam is a code word for 33 Devas. So the 33, you can take the Deva Tirtham, na Pitriyena Kadachana, but not the Pitru Tirtham. So you can take the Brahma Tirtham, you can take the Prajapati Tirtham, you can take the Deva Tirtham, but you should not take the Pitru Tirtham. That's what he is giving. It will not, you can't understand this, but he's going to give explanation in the next sloka. So when I go to the next slokas, you will understand what is Brahma Tirtham, Prajapati Tirtham, Deva Tirtham, and Pitru Tirtham. So Manu is telling you, you're allowed to take Brahma Tirtham, Prajapati Tirtham, Deva Tirtham, but you're not allowed to take Pitru Tirtham. That's what he says. Going to sloka number 59. Angushta Moolasya Tale Brahmam Tirtham Pratyachakshate Kayam Anguli Moole Agre Daivam Pityam Tayoradaha. Angushta Moolasya Tale Brahmam Tirtham Pratyachakshate Kayam Pitriyam Tayoradaha. So he is giving the definition of all those tirthas, Brahma Tirtham, Prajapati Tirtham, and Deva Tirtham. Angushta Moolasya Tale Brahmam. Yes, if you see the hand, this is the hand. You can see this is the thumb. Thumb is called Angushtam. The base of the thumb is called, so when water is poured here, that is called Brahma Tirtham. Anguli Moole, where in the base of the fingers, all this is called Prajapati Tirtham. And Agre, which means the tip of the fingers, is Deva Tirtham. So you can take water like this, even water like this, but the space between the index finger and the thumb, where you do when people have Pitru, they do like that, is called the Pitru Tirtham. You are not supposed to drink water like that. So basically, you can do Brahma Tirtham, you can do Prajapati Tirtham, you can do Deva Tirtham, but not Pitru Tirtham. That's what is meaning. It depends upon the anatomy. Basically, the anatomy from where you drink the water, that is how the definition comes. Is Anguli Moole, Daivam is Agre, and then Angushta Moole is Brahma Tirtham. So that's what he's telling. He's even giving you specifications where to drink. And these are because we believe the devatas, everything around our body itself. So even the way you do things, you can activate devatas, you can make the devatas angry in your body. Everything is there. So that is the important thing on those tirthams. Next he says, sloka number 60, Triracham etapah purvam divi pramunjaya tato mukam kani chaiva spurshedad biratmanam shira evacha. Triracham etapah purvam divi pramunjaya tato mukam kani chaiva spurshedad biratmanam shira evacha. So this is, all of you do it every day. He's just putting it in words. You do 3 Rachamyam, Achyuta, Ananta, Govinda, whatever you say. The 3 times you do the Achamnya. And then you wipe the lips 2 times. It says take the water. Divi means 2. 2 times you wipe your lips. And then Kani Chaiva means all the Indriyas you should clean by touching. So you have the water hand, you are touching the mouth, you are touching the eyes, the nose, the ears. All the Indriyas has been touched with water. Biratmanam Shira Evacha. And then you touch your heart where the soul is there, and then the Shiram. So that is how you clean yourself. So he's telling do the 3 times Achamya, wipe your lip 2 times, clean your Indriyas with all water everywhere, and then in the Atmanam and in the Shira, sprinkle the water in the end. That is how you clean yourself by the Achamana, he says. So this is basically all of you know, but he's just putting it in words, how you do Achamya there. Then comes sloka number 61. Anushna abhihi afenabihi adbis tirtena dharmavit saushepshu sarvada achamad ekante prangudan mukah. Anushnabihi afenabihi adbis tirtena dharmavit saushepshu sarvada achamed ekante prangudan mukah. There is, if you read the Dharma Shastra, Vaidyanatha Dikshitiyam or any other Nibandhas, they will describe all this process, how to purify. He says, where basically Manu is telling more details of how to do Achamana itself. Anushna, Afena, use the 2 terms. Anushna means, Ushna means heat. Anushna means not heated. Fena means frothy, which is, you see all these bubbles and other things. Afena means no. So you should use a water which is neither hot and neither frothy. So when you collect water for Achamana, the water should not be very hot, and it should also be not having too much of bubbles or froth in that. You should only take that kind of water. And Dharma with means one who knows Dharma knows to do this. Saushepshu means purifying. Sausham means purifying. Whenever the person who knows Dharma wants to purify himself. So Dharmavit means one who knows Dharma, one who wants to purify himself, he should Achamet. Sarvada, you should do this Achamanam several times. Ekante, that too sitting alone. Prang Gudan Mukha means either facing north or east. So you should do Achamana only in 2 these directions. Usually in the evening times we face north, in the morning times we face east. That is what our ancestors have taught us. But you can do Achamana facing east or north. So this is very important, because if you read this Dharma Shastram, it will tell you, if you go to bathroom and come, you have to do Achamana. Even after taking a before bath Achamana, after bath Achamana, before food Achamana, after food Achamana. When you go out of your home and come back home, you should do Achamana. So that is, you have to do. And then there is, if you look at some Vedanta Desikans, the Pancharadha, Pancharadha Samhita Raksha and all, it will tell you, he will count how many times Achamana. It will come to like 40-50 times a day you have to be doing Achamana. If you count all these things, from morning waking to going night to sleep. So that is, and that's what Manu is telling. It will be, when you read that Pancharadha Samhita Raksha and all, you'll get, what do you do so much Achamana, man? And then if you read Manu, he clearly specifies it. Dharma with one who knows Dharma, who wants to purify, has to do this Achamana sarvada. has to do Achamana several times facing north or east, and that water should be neither hot nor frothy. So he gives all these criteria for doing Achamanam. Next comes sloka number 62. Hridgabihi puyate vipraham kantagabistu bhumipaham vaishyo adbihi prashitabistu shudraga sprushta birantatah. Hridgabihi puyate vipraham kantagabistu bhumipaham vaishyo adbihi prashitabistu shudraga sprushta birantatah. This is more detail on Achamana. He specifies for Brahmana is puyate. Puyate means like PS in Pennsylvania. Puyate means purifying. Vipra means Brahmana. Bhumipaha means ruler of the earth, which is kings, Kshatriya. Vaishya is Vaishya, which are all the traders and the agricultural people, and Shudra. He specifies when you do Achamana, for a Brahmana, the water, you should take so much water enough that it should go all the way into your stomach. Only then you get purified. So you cannot just chip water, just wet your tongue. The water should be enough to go. You should drink water. It should go all the way into your stomach. Then the Brahmana gets purified. Hrudgabihi puyate vipraha. When the water goes all the way down to the stomach, the Brahmana gets purified. Kanta gabistu bhumipaha. Kanta means throat. Nila kantam we call for Shiva. One was a blue throat. Nila kanta we call. So when the kanta gabis means for the king, when they do Achamana, when the water is enough to wet to the throat, they get purified. Vaishya adbihi prashidabistu. As long as the back of the tongue is wet, the Vaishya gets purified. So he doesn't even need to go all the way to the throat. And for Shudra, the tip, even if water touches the tip of the mouth, he is purified. So basically, it says the water, when you do Achamana, it has to go all the way to the stomach for the Brahmana. At least it should wet the throat. Doesn't mean the king cannot take all the way to the stomach. He can also do it. But as long as it touches the throat, the king Achamana is purified. Vaishya is purified as long as the water touches the back of the tongue. And for Shudra, as long as it touches any tip of the mouth, is purified also. So next shloka is 63. And these are all very basic rules. We'll also know these things. Udrute dakshine pana upavitam uchyate dvijaha savye prachina viti niviti kantasajjane. Udrute dakshine pana upaviti uchyate dvijaham savye prachina viti niviti kantasajjane. And people who do this Pitrukaryam and Devakaryam, they know. When you're upavitam, when the sacred thread goes from the left shoulder to the right, it's called upavitam. When it goes from the right shoulder to the left, it's called prachina vitam. And when it hangs, when it hangs like a garland in the center, it's called niviti. So here is giving a different explanation. How he says is udrute dakshine pana. How do you define upavitam? Is when you are doing Achamana, when the right hand is above your sacred thread, that is upavitam. So only when the punal runs from the left shoulder to the right side of the belly, then only when you are doing Achamana on the right hand. So he says, whenever the right hand is above the sacred thread, that is called upavitam. Whenever the left hand is above the sacred thread, that is called prachina vitam. And when the sacred thread hangs as a garland from the neck, it's called nivitam. So the way it's called upavitam, prachina vitam, and nivitam. And there is because when you go to the details, when you do devakaryam, it should be in upavitam. When you do pitrukaryam, it has to be in prachina vitam. When you are doing a regular manushya karanam, you are supposed to work and doing a regular material work, it should be in nivitam. So that is what you are supposed to do. For manushya karanas, it should be in as a mala. For devakaryas, it should be in upavitam, and for pitrukaryas, it should be in prachina vitam. But now we agree that not most of us keep it for devakaryam, manushya karyam, both we keep it upavitam itself. Mahaperivandala, everybody says that is acceptable, that is not against the rule. But if you are a strict follower of the rules, for whenever you're doing any manushya karmas, it should be doing in nivitam only, which is hanging as a thread from the neck. So that is how he is defining Prachina Vitam, Upavitam and Nivitam. Now coming to sloka number 64. Mekala Majinam Dandam, Upavitam Kamandalum, Apsu Prasi Vinashtani, Gruhini Tanyani Mantravate. Mekalam, Mekalam, Ajinam, Dandam, Upavitam Kamandulum, Apsu Prasya Vinashtani, Gruhini Tanyani Mantravate. So what happens when you get damaged? It is five things. Mekala means the arangan which you put in the waist. Everybody is supposed to try a thread in the waist. That is called Mekala. Ajinam is the deer skin. Dandam is the dandam which the brahmachari holds. Upavitam is the punal, which is the sacred thread. Kamandalu is the water pot. If any of these get broken or damaged, Apsu Prasi Venashtani, you should throw it in the running water, it seems. So that is the best thing. So if we all throw punal in the, we don't have any running water nowadays in front of your house, you put it on the top of your cow shed or something. But generally it says if any of these five things get broken, you should throw it in a running water. That's what you should do. And then Grihini Tanyani Mantravat, using mantras, you should get a new one. So when even to acquire a new dandam or a new punal, remember we have to say the small mantras before you change the punal, even during when you go you got a 10-day death tindal or something, and after the death you have to change the punal, you have to use some mantras. So basically it says you can, whenever this damage, you can throw them off in water, but using mantras you should get them again, new ones, new punal or new kamandala or new ajinam, he says. Next sloka is sloka number 65. Keshanta Shodashe Varshe Brahmanasya Vidiyate Rajyan Bandor Dvavimshe Vaishyas Dvaya Adike Tataha. Keshantaha Shodashe Varshe Brahmanasya Vidiyate Rajanya Bandor Dvavimshe Vaishyasya Dvaya Adike Tataha. It tells nobody follows these rules, but at least we'll know the rules. It's basically for Brahmana, only on the 16th year, hair cutting should be done. So you should not do any hair cutting for him till 16 years. For Rajan, for all the kings, Dwa Vimshe means 22. Hair cutting should be done at 22. For Vaishya, Dvaya Adike, 2 more. 22 plus 2 is 24. Dvaya Adike means 22 plus 2, 24. So Brahmana should hair cutting at 16. Kshatriya should do at 22. Vaishya should do at 24. This is the rule for hair cutting. Sloka number 66. These are all simple slokas, so I'm not going detailed explanation. We'll move fast. Amantrika tu karyeyam strinam avruda asheshatah samskarartam sharirasya yata kalam yata kramam. Amantrika tu karyeyam strinam avruta asheshatah samskarartam sharirasya yata kalam yata kramam. So for the ladies, he's saying now for the ladies. So because all these samskaras, we tell what is the purpose of all these samskaras is because we define samskara. Samskara is just not purifying the body, it is purifying the soul. So all these activities, you can ask why should we do right hand out, left hand out? Because the rishis are found out by the creation, when you do certain things certain ways, your soul gets purified. Like that too, when we come to, there will be a big chapter on eating food. We eat food just not for nutrition. Deha Pushti Sattva Buddhi. That's what it's defined. When Krishna defines food, it should give you nutrition to the body, but also give you sattvika to the mind. So if you, because any food you eat, you can eat goat, pork, everything, they will give you Deha Pushti, but they will not give you Sattva Buddhi. So all our procedures are called, the samskaras are aimed at not only purifying or strengthening the body, they are for purifying the soul of the dirt which has come through several janmas. So the samskaras, or that's the term for samskara, is they're purifying the soul from all the lot of sins which have been done in several previous janmas. For the three, all the ladies too, all these rules should be followed according to the age wise, yata kalam, yata kramam, but without doing mantras. Without mantras too, you should do all the rules for the ladies. It is said, it doesn't specify the details, but says you should follow the rules even for ladies too, according to age, all the things, but without doing mantras. Now we comes to the most important sloka for the ladies, sloka number 67. Vaivahiko vidihi strinam samskaro vaidika smrutah patiseva guru vaso griharto agni parikriya. Even my wife will hit if I tell this sloka to her, but I will tell it. It says, Vaivahiko vidhi strinam samskaro vaidika smrutah. The vivaham, the marriage to the stri is equal to the upanayana for the brahmachari. So that is the marriage itself is considered equivalent to upanayana for what you do for the boy. So the marriage is the equivalent for the lady. It is the most important Vaidika karma for the ladies. Pati seva guru vaso. Serving the husband is equal to serving the guru. Which when the brahmachari goes and stays in the Gurukula, he is supposed to serve the guru for 12 years. For the lady, serving the husband itself, serving the guru. Griharto agni parikriyaha. Managing the house itself is equal to doing all the agni parikriya, all the homas with agni. So for the ladies, the vivaham itself is equal to the upanayanam. Pati seva is equal to guru seva, and managing the household is equal to all the agni karyams. So that is the equivalent for the ladies. He puts it in one sloka. I'll just tell two more slokas and we'll finish for this. Esha prokto dvijadinam. Esha prokto dvijatinam upanayinako vidihi utpatti venjaka punya karma yogam nibodata. Esha prokto dvijatinam upanayiniko vidihi utpatti venjaka punya karma yogam nibodata. So sloka number 68, what Manu is telling is, I have so far told you all the rules for the dvijas. Dvijas includes Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaisyas for the Upanayana and the basic rules pertaining to it. I have already told you this. Now, Utpatti Venjaka Punya, to generate more Punya, Karma Yogam, you have to follow Karma Yoga. I am going to talk to you about Karma Yoga from now on. That's what the sloka says. Utpatti Venjaka Punya, Karma Yogam Nibodata. I am going to educate you on Karma Yoga, which is going to give more and more Punyas to you. That's what he is telling in sloka number 68. And then sloka number 69, Upaniya Guru Sishyam Sishesh Shausham Aditaham Acharam Agnikaryam cha Sandhyo Upasanam Evacha. Upaniya Guru Sishyam Sishesh Shausham Aditaham Acharam Agnikaryam cha Sandhya Upasanam Evacha. So he says, because now Manu is going to tell all the karmas which you have to do. Putting the sacred thread is the main thought. Only if you put the sacred thread, the punal or the then only you become eligible to do all these good karmas. So he's starting the first thing. What should the guru teach first? The guru should teach the shishya. First thing is 4 things: Saucham, Acharam, Agnikaryam, Sandhya Upasanam. So the first thing the guru should teach a shishya is, what is Saucham? Purity. We always talk, purity is very important. Purity, Saucham, even the Atma Gunas, when Gautama Sutra, Gautama sage, Gautama lists the Atma Gunas, he puts Saucham as that. So Saucham is purity is very important, and purity should be taught. How to be pure in mind, body and speech. Purity should be taught. Acharam is good conduct. Which Achara Prabho, Dharma se Prabho. Acharam is the root cause of everything. Only good conduct will lead you to higher worlds. So you should teach him purity. You should teach him good conduct. Then Agnikaryam, how to do all that. For Brahmachari, we call the Samhidadanam, and only after married, they do Upasanam. All the Agnikaryam you should teach. And Sandhya Upasanam, how to do the Sandhya, morning and evening, and the Madhyanigam, the Sandhya Upasanam. These are the first things you should teach the Shishya. So after that, so those are the more important things you should teach. And the last sloka which I want to cover today is sloka number 70. Addeshamanas Twachanto Yata Shastram Udang Mukaham Brahmanjali Krita Adyabhyo Laguvasa Jitendriyaham. Addeshamanas Twachanto Yata Shastram Udang Mukaham Brahmanjali Krityo Adyapyo Laguvasa Jitendriya. So after teaching those 4 things, then comes the Adhyayanam and Adhyapanam. Adhyapana means teaching the Vedas. So after the Guru has taught good conduct, purity, Agnikaryam, and Sandhya Upasanam to the Guru, to the Shishya, then he should start teaching the Vedas, the Adhyapanam. And what should he do is, you should teach it to the student who is following all the shastric rules. And again, twachanto, the student should have udan mukha, means again facing the north or the east. The student should have done achamani. Brahmanjali, which means holding the hands like this, Brahmanjali. And Laguvasa Jitendriya. Laguvasa means he should wear not tight clothes, light clothes. And Jitendriya means control the senses. So for a Sishya who has purified himself by doing Achamanam, who is using the Brahmanjali Mudra, and who is also wearing a light clothing, and who is also control the senses, the Guru should start teaching the Vedas. So I will start with that, because from the next slokas and all, the details of how the Vedas has to be taught is going to be given by Manu to the all of us. So I'll start that. Mangalam Koshalendraya Mahaniya Gunaptem Chakravarti Tanujaya Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam Shriyak Kantaya Kalyanidhe Ertinam Shri Venkata Nivasaya Srinivasaya Mangalam. Thank you for joining us, and Padmanabhanji, you take it from here.
Namaste, and thank you, Dr. Jambunathan sir. It's a very nice detailed lecture on Dharma Shastra. So we continue with our journey on Nyaya Shastra. So basically what we understood so far is the Nyaya Shastra tells us the world is made up of 7 objects that we need to understand. The whole world is made up of 7 objects. They are Dravya, Guna, Karma, Samanya, Vishesha, Samavaya, and Abhava. And we went through each, basically the Tarka Sangraha is giving a definition of each of these objects and all the sub-object classifications under that. And then it also tells you and how you use your logic and apply the application is how do you understand all these things and use your use based on this you apply your knowledge and you apply your cognitions, etc. So we looked at Dravya as a cause, Dravya, which is called as a substance, and it had 9 Dravyas. Basically, they are Prithvi, Ap, Vayu, Teja, Agni, Kala, Dik, Atma, Manasi, and we went through all those definitions on how they are defined. And then we started looking at something called as a gunas, that is a qualities. So when you are looking at the qualities, we finished a few qualities. Sorry, I think I'm in the wrong one. So the qualities are basically Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha. There's about 24 qualities that are listed here. So out of which we completed looking at Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha. And from that point onwards, we are now continuing to the next sessions of other qualities. And we'll try to cover as much up to the Buddhi portion of it. The Buddhi is very detailed and very much covered because that's the most important thing that we need as far as analysis is concerned. So the previous one we saw was on the Twagindya Matra Grahya Gunha Sparashaha. So the next one is Rupadi Chatushyam Prithivyam Pakajam Anityam Cha Anyatra Apakajam Nityam Anityam Cha Nityagatam Nityam Anityagatam Anityam. So Rupadi Chatushyam. So the Rupadi Chatushyam is basically indicating the 4 gunas. Basically, what are the 4 gunas is Rupa, Rasa, Sparsha, and Gandha. So we are leaving the 5th one, which is Shabda, out of it because we know that it is part of Akasha and it is always eternal. Whereas these 4 of these of the gunas, we had previously seen that they also exist. They exist in the minute form called as a Paramana Rupa. So, and based on some activity, based on some karma, they collide with each other and they form bigger objects. Is what we saw earlier. So the same way, when contacting with Agni, all these 4 items, all the 4 gunas, basically the Rupa, Rasa, Sparsha, and Gandha, they can form a different, they can have a different reaction and form a different state, or they can collide and make a bigger objects like that. But this is happening through the process of heating, and this process is called as a pakajam. Paka means it's cooking actually. In Pakvam, all those things are said in Sanskritam, we call it as Paka. Basically, the cooking happens due to the contact with Agni. So without heating, these items are in eternal state when they are in the Paramanu Rupam. But due to heating, they will be in a different kind of state. So they can be anityam. So when it is nityam, it is nityam. When in the state of an eternality, when it is an anitya state, anitya means it can transform it into any format and it can go back. So when you create something, it can obviously get destroyed. So that kind of transition happens. Anitya gatam, in the anitya state, it is always anityam. And that is what this shloka says. The next guna is sparsha. त्वग् इन्द्रिय मात्र ग्राह्यो गुणः स्पर्शः स च त्रिविधः शीतोष्ण अनुष्णि शीतभेदात् पृथिवी तेज वायुवृत्तिः तत्र शीतो जले उष्णस्तेजसि उष्ण अशीत पृथिवी वायोः. So basically the touch is basically what it is. The sparsha indicates touch. So by the faculty of touch, we understand the touch being an activity, a guna, a quality. So there are three types of sparsha that is available. There, shitaha, which is cold, ushnaha, which is hot, and anushnaha, which is warm. So there are the water, basically by nature, it is in the cold state. So that is where the water, that object resides there. And in the Agni, it is in the form of, the touch is in the form of Ushna. And in some places between like earth and air, the Sparsha is in a warm state. So that is basically a combination of cold and heat. Depending on how much percentage of cold and heat it is warm. So those are the three states available for Sparsha. एकत्वाद व्यवहार हेतु संख्या सा नवद्रव्य वृत्ति एकत्वादि परार्ध पर्यंत एकत्वं नित्यं अनित्यं च नित्यगतं नित्यं अनित्यगतं अनित्यं द्वित्वादिकं तु सर्वत्र अनित्यम् एव. So then we talk about a quality called number, which is a sankhya. Sankhya indicates number. Number is also a quality. In the number, the quality of number, the number 1 is always considered to be eternal. So that number is eternal. So rest of the numbers are all non-eternal because it is added by 1 plus etc. etc. Here they give an indication of parardha. Ekam, the range of numbers as defined in the Shastra is from Ekam, from 1 to 10 to the power of 16. Because if you look at the Shiva Sankalpa Slokam, it says the parardha is one of the words that is there. So the parardha is 10 to the power of 16, but some authors quote it as infinity. So I think technically you can consider it as infinity or 10 to the power of 16. What happens to the next number? I mean, we just assume that it is every full number, every infinite, I mean, every number is part of this equation here. So again, we see the same word, nityagatam nityam, anityagatam nityam. So when it is eternal, it is eternal. When it is in other formats, it can be, it can multiply, it can grow up and all those things. Other important aspect for number is, it is a navadravya vritti. In all the 9 substances, number is important. So it's like whether you do a dravya, guna, karma, or samanya, everything, the number is an applicable factor. So some of these other features we saw is not applicable in other substances. For example, sparsha cannot be in like for samavaya, rabhava, or sorry, for tejaha, agni, or something like that. So tejaha, agni we have sparsha, so atma, manas, and all we don't have sparsha. So like that, it is the sankhya is across all the substances. Then it's the next one is parimanam. Parimanam, man stands for measurement. So parimanam stands for measurement. Manavyavahara sadharanakaranam karanam parimanam. Navadravya vrittihi tat taturvidam anu mahat dirgham hasvam cheti. So all the things that you use for measurements, that is also a quality. Measurement mana vyavahara hetuhu, it's called guna. That is a guna, and that is called as parimana. So out of this, there are four classifications for parimana, which is anu, which is a minute, so mahat, which is big, and dirgha, which is long, and hrasva is short. So these are the normal parimana measurements that are being said. So like a paramanu is a minute item. So that is why it is anu, it's called. And it's an elephant, something which is big. Like a road, which is long. And maybe something like a small calf or something like that, which is short. So these are the things that are used for the parimanam as a measurement scale, as a guna, the quality. The next quality is pratakvam. Pratag vyavahara asadharana karanam pratakvam sarvadravya vritti. So pratak means it is a separation process. So from it is something is united and then it gets separated. So that's called discreteness, or whenever that is happening is some quality. There is a quality that is happening. You can heat and break an object, or you can you can disintegrate. You can smash an object and break it. Whenever you break an object, that's also a quality that is being described as, and it is sarvadravya vritti. So all the 9 dravyas have this property, and it's something the word here used is called asadharana karana, because it is an uncommon cause for. So discreteness is uncommon cause of referring to all discrete entities that where it can be broken. So that is the pratakvam is a quality that is mentioned there. So when you have a pratakvam, then you have a samyoga also. That is means if something can be broken, something can be united also. That is also a quality. Samyukta vyavahara hetuhu samyoga sarvadravya vrittihi. So basically contact refers to connectedness, and it exists again. This is also two different objects, or two different objects of the same type can collide, and then it can become a samyoga. So a bird can come and sitting on a tree, and that contact point is called as the samyoga. So that is a quality that is being described. And the next quality is the vibhaga. Samyoga nashako gunaha vibhagaha sarvadravya vrittihi. So when a bird comes and sits in the bush, it is a samyoga that is happening during that time. And when the bird flies away, now then that is a vibhaga, that is a separation. So the pratakvam and vibhaga are slightly different. I think we'll go through that later, but so there is a slight difference between that. The vibhaga happens from when one object leaves from that particular point onwards, that particular locus onwards. So that is where the vibhaga happens. And then para apara vyavahara sadharana karane paratva aparatve pritivyadi chatushya manovrittini te vividhe dikrite kalakrite cha duraste vikritam paratvam samipaste vikritam aparatvam jeshte kalakritam paratvam kanishte kalakritam aparatvam. So para and apara basically are there means it is you can have it in two classifications. There are two sub classifications for para and apara. So one with respect to distance. So basically you can say something which is far and something is near. So that is a para and apara. Or you can also say with respect to time. When you say with respect to time, you can say somebody is an elder brother and somebody is an younger brother. So apara that's so jeshte kalakritam paratvam. So whenever somebody is senior, he becomes a para object, and the person who is lower or anything which is younger than that is called as an aparatva object. So there are two different specifications, areas where this is applied. One is on the directions on the dik, another is on the time period time. So that's a kalakriticha. And there is the next point is called as the next guna is called as the gurutvam. So out of the 24 gunas, we are the 12th guna right now. So the 12th guna is gurutvam. Adya patana Asamavayi Karanam Gurutvam Prithvi Jala Vrittihi. So basically, Adhya Patana Asamavayi Karanam Gurutvam. So when you throw a ball and the ball comes back, so the point where, the topmost point where the ball goes there, and from there it comes back down, and that action, that quality is called as the Gurutvam. So this Gurutvam is present only in water and earth. These are the 2 points where the Gurutva is happening there. And now something like you can ascribe it to the gravitational force, but maybe yes. So because in Sanskritam, the word that is given for gravitational force is Gurutva Akarshan Shakti. So that is why that Gurutvam is coming. So that is also a quality that is being mentioned. The next quality is called fluidity, which is called as a Dravatvam. Adya Sandana Asamavayi Karanam Dravatvam Prithivya Tejo Vritti Tad Dvividam Samsiddhikam Naimittikam Cha. Samsiddhikam Jale Naimittikam Prithivi Tejaso. Prithivya Gritad Agnihi Samyogam Dravatvam Tejasi Suvarnadav. Now, the fluidity is basically a property which is present in the liquid, right? So, fluidity is a cause of the flowing of the liquid, and that's the property, that guna causes the movement of the fluid substance that exists in earth, water, fire, and light. So, and 2 types which are natural and incidental. So, obviously, the flowing of the water from one point to another is natural in water, and it is incidental in fire and earthly objects. So in earthly objects, the fluidity is caused due to a contact with Agni. So when and in the fluidity in fire is seen in metals like gold, etc. So even the gold is considered as a Agni object there. So that whenever you melt the gold, you can see gold, you can see the fluidity that is happening there. Churnadi Pindi Bhava Hetuhu Gunaha Snehaha Jalamatra Vrittihi. So this guna is called sneha. Sneha normally means friend in other contexts, but in here, sneha is a quality which is called as a moisture. So the moisture is only available only in water, because when you mix a powder and water, like making a chapati flour, right, the atta flour, and mixing with the water, it becomes like a moist ball, which then it's made into rotis and everything. So this particular property is called as a sneha. And now we come to the Shabda. Shabda is the other thing, Rupa Rasa Sparsha Gandha Shabda. The Shabda is also a guna. Shrotra Grahyo Gunaha Shabda. Akasha Matra Vrittihi Sa Dvividaha Dhvanyatmakaha Varnatmakascha. Tatra Dhvanyatmakaha Beryado Varnatmakaha Samskrita Bhashadi Rupa. So the sound is revealed by ears. So that is a Shrotra Grahyo Gunaha Shabda. Dvividaha. It is of 2 types. So one is called as a dhvanyatmakaha. Dhvanyatmakaha means when any sound that we hear, like playing the drums, playing the beri and all those instruments, that is the dhvanyatmakaha. The second type of shabda is called as a varnatmakaha, samskrita bhashadi rupaha. So something like any other languages that we use, the sounds that are produced by those languages, that is also a quality of shabda. So these are the 2 types of shabdas available, dhvanyatmakaha and varnatmakaha. Then we come to buddhihi. Sarva vyavahara hetu jnanam buddhihi sa dvividha shrutihi anubhavascha. So the whole transactions that we are happening for a human transaction, I mean, in this case, it is considered as a human transactions. For all the human beings, the quality that is that is the cause of application of all terms in the real world, all transactions in the real world, is called buddhihi. So it is also called as cognition, and the cognition that comes out of it is a knowledge which prompts all human behaviors. There are 2 types of buddhi or knowledge. One is smriti and another is anubhava. So there are normally when you see human beings, can have three different types of behavior. So let's say two people are talking, or somebody is talking about food or some good things that are going on. The third person wants to come and join. He may be interested in conversing into it, so he will jump in, talk to the person, talk to the two people, or or if he's in the conversation and he doesn't like the conversation the way it is going, he will get out of the group. That is also possible. Or the third possibility is he can just ignore it. He doesn't have to even care about that. So these are the three possibilities that can happen. Now, how are these possibilities are happening? It is because due to a possibility, this is prompted, this particular behavior is prompted through what is called as a cognition. So the knowledge presents the world before the knower with a form of a name, and if he wants to go and collect it, or he can decide to withdraw from it, or he can get rid of it, or he can avoid it. In any case, it is the cognition that is prompting these behaviors. So in some cases, those whatever decision he makes, sometimes he feels happy about it, and it's some good outcomes that comes out of it. Then we call it as a good cognition. Or sometimes he goes there and gets himself trapped into it and gets into trouble and all those things. Then it becomes a false cognition or a bad cognition. But it is all due to this buddhi. Using the intellect, he's trying to decide on those kind of things. So the buddhi is a very key important part of this equation. Now there are two types of knowledge we saw: smriti, remembrance, and other one is experience. So let us see what that means. Samskara matra janyam jnanam smriti tad bhinnam jnanam anubhavah tad dvividah yathartha ayatharthascha. So the knowledge is classified into two, smriti and anubhava. And the smriti is something called as a remembrance. It's based on remembrance. So what that means is, suppose we meet somebody. I meet somebody maybe today. Maybe his name is say Ramakrishna or something like that. And 10 days later, I meet him again because in between I don't have any conversation with him. I don't have any relationship or any touch with him. And then he comes back again, and then I may have some memory, and due to with some format in my own mind, I recollect, and then I associate with him and say, oh, Ramakrishna is here. Then I talk to him. So there is a process that is happening in my mind. So the samskara here is not the samskara that we talked about in the Dharma Shastra. The samskara here is the remembrance, the quality of remembrance. And that remembrance gives me, that resides as a part of my buddhi. And then based on that, I establish my relation and talk to him. So that is the remembrance is the smriti. That is the important quality. And the other one is anything which is not samskara, anything where I'm applying my cognition, it is all experience. And the experience is of two types, which is yathartha and ayathartha, which is true and false experiences. So knowledge by itself is an experience. It appears and leaves, and it can leave some impressions which can cause recollection. So that is the summary of smriti and anubhava. Let me stop here. I think we are. I think I will go much more detail into the smriti and anubhava later, and I will stop here, and we can stop the recording, and I think we'll open for discussions. And I think we are about 4:15 right now. So.
मंगलम गुरु श्री चंद्रमौलीश्वर के, शक्ति गणपति शारदाम्बिके शंकराचार्यर के, शक्ति गणपति महागणपति शारदाम्बिके के, काल भैरव के, काली दुर्गै के, वीर धीर शूर हनुमा मारुति चरणतिके, मल्लिकार्जुन के, सेल्व जनार्दन के, अंबा भवानी कंबद गणपति चंडी चामुंडी के, श्री कृष्ण भगवान के, श्री चक्रवासिनी के, सीताराम लक्ष्मण सहित மாருதி சரணத்திற்கே. வித்யாரண்யருக்கே வித்யாசங்கரர்க்கே வாகீஸ்வரிக்கே வஜ்ரதேக கருட ஆஞ்சநேயருக்கே ஸ்ரீவள்ளி தேவ சேனா சமேத சுப்பிரமணியருக்கே துங்கபத்ரைக்கே ஸ்ருங்கநிவாசினிக்கே ஸ்ருங்கேரி புரியில் நிலைத்திருக்கும் எங்கள் சாரதாம்பிகைக்கே சச்சிதானந்த சிவ அபிநவ நிருசிம்ஹ பாரதிக்கே ஸ்ரீ சந்திரசேகர பாரதி குரு சார்வபௌமருக்கே ஸ்ரீ சந்திரசேகர பாரதி குரு வித்யாதீர்த்தருக்கே ஸ்ரீ சந்திரசேகர பாரதி குரு பாரதி தீர்த்தருக்கே ஸ்ரீ சந்திரசேகர பாரதி குரு விதுஷேகர பாரதிக்கே மங்களம் குரு ஸ்ரீ சந்திரமௌலீஸ்வருக்கே சக்தி கணபதி சாரதாம்பி சங்கராச்சாரியருக்கே சக்தி கணபதி மகாகணபதி சாரதாம்பிகைக்கே